basically how the universe moves, right? So in their understanding, the universe is energy, and this energy has a certain vibration that it moves. And what the Tree of Life shows you is how this universe moves. If you actually study the Tree of Life, what it is fundamentally is thesis, antithesis, synthesis. Okay, so the idea is like everything produces a polarity, and then this polarity in itself combines to create a new force, which then creates a new polarity, and that's dialectic materialism, right? Marx's great innovation is to say, okay, I'm going to take this idea and apply it to
It's
economics.
dialectics, yeah, but
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it's materialism, but
Right.
okay, go on. I shouldn't have stopped you. You're lecturing.
Right. No, but I'm saying that's what the Tree of Life teaches you. Like the fundamental force of the universe is the thesis, antithesis, synthesis dynamic, right? And you can also say this as the generative force, productive force, and then creation. And what Marx, and again, Marx's great innovation is to recognize that, okay, the priority then is economics, okay? And that's how he came up with dialectic materialism. And before, people appreciate it as maybe thought or religion. And Marx says, no, we can simplify it by prioritizing class differences.
Okay, I still don't fully understand how that is similar, but maybe I just don't have the brain power to comprehend it. But okay, so what's your spiritual analysis then? Because you said everybody believes something, right? Like everybody has like
Yeah.
some kind of spiritual understanding of the world, some kind of religious worldview. What would you say yours is?
Right. So, 4 years ago, I was a very happy atheist. I was like you. I was probably more sympathetic to Marx than anyone else. I really believed in dialectic materialism.
Wait, that was 4 years ago?
So, 4 years ago, I was a very happy atheist. I was like you. I was probably more sympathetic to Marx than anyone else. I really believed in dialectic materialism.
Wait, that was 4 years ago? You said?
Yeah, 4 years ago. 4 years
Okay.
ago. And then these past 4 years, as I'm teaching history, as I'm teaching the great books, as I'm seeing how things unfold in the world, I have this crisis of faith. And so when I'm looking at what's happening in Iran, I can't explain it simply using game theory. I can't explain it just using, the geopolitics. I think there's something much larger going on. I still don't know why Donald Trump attacked Iran. Do you know why? Because he's never really articulated a good reason why he decided to go and attack Iran.
Why do I
so-
think he attacked Iran? Because I
yeah.
think that the axis of resistance was at its weakest point in the aftermath of 3 years of genocide, and that Benjamin Netanyahu and the Israeli government was able to make a convincing case to finally strike at Iran, something that numerous American administrations have said no to, and then he believed foolishly that a regime decapitation would actually create ample ground for regime change, with the Kurdish militias on the ground, foment sectarian conflict, things of that nature. Of course, it didn't happen. I think Benjamin Netanyahu probably utilized the Venezuela victory as well to his advantage, and outside of that, I think ultimately he wanted to, one, disrupt the global world, the global energy supply coming out of the Gulf, because the Gulf is already far too close to China, America's only, I think, at this point, geopolitical enemy, and they wanted to. I mean, Trump has been doing this already. He wanted to decouple the rest of the world from China. It failed, obviously, with his tariffs, with his Liberation Day terrorist proposals. And then outside of that, I think he wanted to maintain the world's largest known natural oil supplies in Venezuela, which he did. And then he turned around. He turned around and thought he could then either A, disrupt the Gulf's energy development, and increase the rest of the world's reliance on American refined oil, or rather destabilize Iran and then control Iran so that he would no longer have to worry about the rest of the Gulf potentially aligning with China in any meaningful capacity, which could have created a leverage point for China and would have probably hardened China's position. They're already very clearly aligned with Russia. That's one major energy provider for them, and they still obviously need oil and gas, whereas they are already in control of the next, they have monopoly control over the next wave of the world's energy supply, the green energy, renewable energy.
Yeah, that's fantastic. You know, and if like Barack Obama were president, I would agree with your analysis. We're talking about Donald Trump, right? So the thing about Donald Trump is, in his first term, they tried really hard to debrief him. Like, you know, there was the presidential daily briefing, and they recognized this guy doesn't actually read. So at first they tried a paragraph, like, you know, like instead of one pager, let's give him a paragraph. And it was impossible to focus his attention. He just did not care. So then they're like, okay, like we'll do bullet points, okay? Didn't work either. They're like, okay, we'll draw pictures. Like, didn't work either, okay? Even if you drew pictures for him, he could not keep focused. He could not absorb what you were telling him about geopolitics. And then they recognized the only way to get his attention was to appear on Fox News and tell him the message there. Okay, so this is a guy who has problems paying attention, who has problems being consistent, who has problems putting together coherent thoughts. So I think he's very emotional. I think he's very instinctual. He believes his own intuition. So I have a hard time believing that he actually thought it out. You know,
I don't think he did. I think that there are people around him that some he trusts